Hey, this is Joanne Hewins from LoveToCreate.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I want to share with you this card that is made using the Bloom by Bloom stamp set. This stamp set is in the Occasions catalog, and it's on page 25. So let me show that to you. We're going to be using the stamp set Bloom by Bloom, and we're also going to be using the Designer Series paper Happiness Blooms. Let me pull that in real quick. Here's a few of the sheets of this. Reminds me a little bit of the 70s. That was a time of my youth. And so here is part of that, and let me turn it over and you can see some of the other designs that are in there. So it's a pretty neat, pretty bright paper that we'll be using. We're also going to be using from page 27 this set, the Well Said stamp set. Here is it. It actually comes into two parts because you can see it is filled with words. And along with that is the well-written framelit dies. I had to put those on two cards. There's so many of them. There are 24 dies in this set. Lots of words. It's fantastic. So I'll talk to you about it a little bit more in a little bit. And then we're also going to be using from page 28. Let me show you where that is because this would be easy to overlook. Is the rectangle stitched framelit dies. So pretty fantastic. There are 13 of those. There's quite a few, and it also fills up this magnetic sheet. So we'll talk about those a little bit more also. So lots of things from the occasions. It is live now. If you need a catalog, contact me. I will be glad to get one to you, along with one of the celebration brochures. Celebration is going on now, and you can earn some free product by purchasing things that you want anyway. So with a $50 or $100 purchase, you can get some of the neat things that are in the celebration brochure. Okay, let me put that aside and we'll get started. This is the card we're making. We're going to start with a card base of 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're just going to fold that in half and give that a little bit of a slide here with our bone folder to get a good fold. And then we are going to be adding this paper to that. Now, let me tell you that it's important that these papers be the exact same length so that they'll look great on your card. So what I did is I cut a strip that was 3/4 inches, a strip that's 1 1/4, a strip that is 2 inches. All of those are by 5 1/4. I put them all together so that the ends were even here, and then cut them all together with my trimmer so that all of those would be the same. And we are going to tape those to the card, and I just realized, hold on just a second. You know how you use something and then you don't have it where you need it, so I needed to get my snail real quick. So I'm just going to put some tape on this and put it as straight as I can and equidistant from the ends here. I'll add my next piece. And I'm going to put that so it looks like the flowers are going up the card. I'm just going to butt that up next to the piece that's already there. And then we'll add our last one. And that one I'll butt right up against the other. And so that's going to fit perfectly on our card. We're going to add a little bit of the medium Night of Navy twine. And what I'm going to do with that is pull in just a little bit of tape. And I'm going to tape the end of that here in the middle. Go all the way around. And I'm putting that right there where that seam is between the two pieces of paper. I'm going to get another tiny piece of tape and add that there, and then just cut that. We're going to come back in a little bit and add a bow to the card, and we'll be adding that with a glue dot in a few minutes. Okay, so we have that much done. I'm going to work now on the banner that's right here, or the label that's right here. And for that, we're going to use the framelit, the rectangle framelits that I discussed, and we're going to be cutting out a piece of white, whisper white, from this very center one in this grouping of those. And then we're also going to cut out some words. We're going to cut out the word love, but we're also going to use the word you. And these are from that well-written framelit set. So I'm going to pull out the word you and the word love. Be sure and look this up in the catalog. It has birthday, it has happy, friend, sympathy, wishes, all kinds of words, miss, things that you can use for sure in your cards. Now we're going to cut the love and the you out of Calypso Coral paper, and a little tip for you is to use these adhesive sheets, the multi-purpose adhesive sheets. It comes in a pack that is 6 by 12, and I'm trying to think how many sheets there are. Sorry, the other thing I forgot was my glasses. 12 sheets in a pack, so there's a bunch in there. And what I did was just cut a strip from the end and lifted that up and added my Calypso Coral to the back of that. And so I'm going to be cutting with the big shot the rectangle and the words love and you. So I'm going to try to pull that big shot in. Now for this, I'm using the magnetic platform, a plate, or a clear plate, that I'm going to put down my rectangle there, and then I'm going to add my you and my love. That's going to fit a little bit better if I turn it around that way. Now another clear plate, and I'm just going to run all that through, and I'm going to go back and forth. I think I'm going to do it again, although it may not need it. Oops, sorry, I had some notes there I'm knocking around. Let me put this back. And we have our cutouts. Okay, so I'm going to take this apart, and then we'll take the love and the you apart. There. All right. Now, you probably will look at this and think, what? This is one of the old paper piercers. Sometimes you have just what's close by, and that's what was close by today. So that's what I've pulled out. I'm going to turn this love on the back and just kind of get that sticky off the back of it and pull that up. And it, for the most part, pulled off the extra pieces. I see I've got one right here I need to get rid of. And then we're just going to add the love to the label. And I did put it more to one side, more over here to the left than the other. And we'll use that U in just a little bit. I'm going to put these pieces away so I don't lose them. And we're going to add these to our card using some dimensionals. And so let me put a couple of those on there. And when I put that on, I'm going to cover up the tape that I used before when I added this twine. Okay, so I'm going to stick that on there. I'm going to get my bow that I made earlier, and I'll be sticking that on a glue dot. Now a little bit of that sticking beyond the center, so I'm just going to fold it back and add my bow there. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the flowers that we're going to put on here. You know, oftentimes when you have a solid like that, it doesn't always stamp well the first time. So for that reason, I'm going to use my Stamparatus to stamp those flowers. So I'm going to pull that in, and I think I'm going to pull a piece of or a pad and put that under there. And I just have a piece of scrap paper here that I'm going to pull in. And what I want to do is just fix it, because we're going to cut these out. I just want to fix it so that it will hit the paper there. So I'm going to put my paper down. I found a small, actually, I realized overnight that that had not closed well, so I'm not going to use it. Spot, couldn't think of my word. I'm just going to go ahead and pull in my larger pad, although it does work better to use something smaller. You don't get the ink everywhere. So I'm going to stamp that. Oh, look at that. I have a dimensional on there, so I'm going to pull that off. And the thing about this is that you can stamp it again. We'll see if that works. I'm sure that never happens to you, right? Well, there, that worked fine. And now I'm going to move my paper. I want to make sure that I can get another flower on there. Okay, that will work. So I'm going to leave my magnet there to hold it. And we'll have to stamp that one again. That was not very solid. Okay, I think I'm going to do that one more time. I think it needs to be a little bit more solid. Okay, and then I'll move my paper around so that I can get another flower on there, because I want 3 flowers. Now, this set does not have framelits, so we're going to be fussy cutting these flowers. And I'm going to be using 3 of the flowers and 5 leaves. So the thing is, I like to fussy cut. I think it's fun, so it doesn't bother me at all. Now, we did this card in class, and I made them use the Stamparatus to also stamp the leaves. But upon further thought, I think it might be easier just to stamp the leaves. So I've put the stamp on a block. And for the flowers, we use Night of Navy. And for the leaves, we're going to be using Call Me Clover. So I want to stamp 5 of those. We're going to hope that these are dark and pretty solid. Working just fine. The thing is, we've got plenty of paper, and if we needed to stamp some extras, we can. But I think that'll work. Now, instead of taking the time, oh, one more thing before I talk about that is we want the centers in our flowers. Let me show you the front of the card again. It pulls in those dots from that paper. So we're going to take Calypso Coral is our other color and stamp in these dots. There. All right, and then we would just take our snips and cut those out. But in the interest of time, I already have them cut out. So I'm going to pull them here, and we're going to add those. Now, for this one, we're going to use dimensionals, and we're going to use glue to put these down. And I'm going to pull in some of these mini dimensionals. And let me find the card that we're making and add it up here. And I'm going to, for this first one, I'll just pull that in and maybe we can see it all. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to part of the flower, and then I'm going to put a dimensional on another part of the flower. Let me pull that off. And then I'm just going to add that there so that the dimensional's out here and this part that's on the label is glued. And then we're going to do the same thing on another. Now it probably would be faster if I would just do all of the glue and all of the dimensionals and then adhere. So I'm going to do that. And then another glue, and a dimensional. So I'm going to add that down here. Now we'll add the leaves just with dimensionals. Well, some of them may need to be glued. But let me share something. My friend Patty made this for me for Christmas. And it's just a block of wood that has these holes in there, and it's to keep my glue in so that all of the glue is down toward the tip. So I thought that was pretty neat, and I want to thank her for giving me that. And this leaf, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and stick it up under here a little. And then these others, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. Now I tend to sometimes pull everything too far down where you can't see it, so I hope that you can see. Okay. And we'll pull those off and add those. Oops. I think it looks better if you put the little white part toward the flower. So there's that, and then we want to use the word you. This is from the well-written stamp set here, and so what we're going to do is just take a thin piece. This is one of those edges from cutting down paper, and I'm going to get the navy blue, and we'll stamp that. Well, that's a mistake. Told you I didn't have my glasses. And I'm trying not to put my head in the screen. Okay, good thing that this is just... Try one more. Okay, or we can just get another strip and try that. So I'm going to put my head under here. and we're going to use that one. And I'm just going to take my snips. If I can figure out where I put them. I'll just use this pair of scissors. And I'm going to put a little bit of dimensional on the back of that. Do you ever feel like you're fiddle fingers? I do. Okay, and we're going to add the word you. So that's the front of the card. So let's talk about why I needed this word you and what we're going to do with it for the inside of the card. So I have a piece of Whisper White that's 4 by 5 1/4, and let me show you the inside of this one. We're going to add a flower, and then we're going to add you mean the world to me. Now on this stamp, this is from the Well Said, it actually says you mean the world to me on there, but I only want mean the world so that I can use this word you. So what I'm going to do is take some tape, and I'm going to tape over the word you so that it's covered up, and then I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm going to pull off the tape, except all of the tape did not come off. Okay, let me fiddle fingers again. There we go. Good thing I noticed that, huh? And let me stamp this. Now I'm not going to promise this is going to be straight, but that's not too bad. And then we're going to add the word you. So I've got that turned into a sticker by using the multi-purpose strip or sheets. So I'm going to pull that up and add the word you. So now it says you mean the world to me. And then we'll just add another flower to the bottom, just how we did these. So I think I'll stop there in the interest of time. And all we would need to have left to do is add the flower. So this is our card using the Bloom by Bloom suite. If there's something you would like to purchase in order to make these cards, go to lovetocreate.typepad.com. It links to my online store, and I would love to have you order something from me. Thanks. And if there's any way that I can help you, if you'll please let me know. On YouTube, I will link these cards to my blog post. Have a wonderful day, and go stamp something. Bye-bye.